But a lot of times the questions that I get from you, and I get thousands of them, okay? The way the question is worded, I can already understand part of the problem. The people who come to me and say, why is it that your prophet was 53 years old and he had sex with a 6-year-old girl? How many of you heard that question? Too many. How would you answer the question? Who would like to try to answer that one? Anybody? You'd like to answer it? Or you think you can answer it? I wouldn't like to even talk to the person after they said that. You notice what's wrong with the question? It has mistakes in the question. First of all, it's not 6, it's 9. How many of you noticed that? But you know how they did it? It's real easy if you know Arabic. You change the literal letters to English. Tissa was sitta. Same letters, just switch them around. You can fool somebody who doesn't know. Sitta, tissa, 9, 6, no difference. That's one. Yeah, you think those people are just playing? What's the other one? The question itself has a huge problem in it. What did it say? Said he had sex. What did that imply? No marriage. Was he married to her? Who was it? Actually, it's nobody, because there's no such thing as 6 years old. That's not real. So it's not even a deal. You could stop them right there. You can say, okay, I'll tell you real easy. That never happened. Next question. Now they got to go come up with some proof, don't they? Because this answer is very, very important. Look how many things you can cover with this answer. First of all, you say your question has problems in it. But still, it's my responsibility as a Muslim to answer your question. And as a Muslim, I must always tell the truth. I have to tell the truth. That's a requirement as a Muslim. So I'm going to tell you that. The next thing is that when you ask a question, if it has something wrong with it, don't we have to straighten it out? For instance, if I went to you, and you're talking to them, and I went to you, and I said to you, by the way, can you answer me yes or no? Is your mother out of jail yet? My mother's not in jail. No, yes or no? Is your mother out of jail? Well, my mother's not in jail. Oh, I'm glad she got out. What could he say? And that's a hard thing to tell somebody something like that, because that's evil, that's mean, that's rude to talk like that, isn't it? Isn't it? To say something like that. You're saying something that's not true in the question. Either I'm going to accept it and try to answer that, which is wrong, or else I'm going to try to dispute with you in the question, and that's not going to work. We have to clean the question up. Let's do that. The next thing I have to ask you is, where did you get this statement from? Because in Islam, for us, we don't consider something to be true unless we know where it came from. Did you get it in a dream? Because if you did, we're not going to take it. If you pulled it off the internet, that's as bad as dreaming. I want to know what's the source for what you said. You've said a monstrous thing here. Where did you get this from? And you know what I want them to say? I want them to say it's in Hadith. I want them to say that. You know why? Because I want to introduce a beautiful subject to them called Rawaya. Because they don't realize that the whole society that we have today hinges on the science of Hadith. There wouldn't be this university here that you're sitting in if it weren't for the science of Hadith. How many of you know that? Because science as we know it today is to take information and test it against reality and see if it holds water or not. Yes or no? That's science, isn't it? You check and you recheck and you check and you recheck, and that's how you determine what's up and what's down. Yes or no? And you never agree in science on something illogical, do you? This is what? Up and pointing up. What is that? It's up. Huh? In all societies, that's up, right? And that's down. If that's down and that's up, We're never going to have a logical argument where you're going to come along and switch it and say, well, today that's going to be up and that'll be down. Right? It's called logic. And science is based on something called proof. Right? And how we know is from the science of hadith. The pattern used to test to see if something's true was used by Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, who was his student. And all of the great shuyukh until this day rely on that science to find out, did he say it? Did he do it? Did he approve of it? Did he forbid it? This is the science of hadith. Is that right? Did you know that Scotland Yard in England based exactly their science of criminology on the same thing? Did you know that? Well, they didn't either. So when you tell them that, they go, really? Yes. Did you ever read Sherlock Holmes? It's a fictitious character, but the methodology, the manhaj, is the same. Take information and compare it against truths. And when something doesn't work, you don't accept it. They're saying, yeah, but I don't understand. Because what I'm going to tell you is, this hadith that you're talking about is something we understand real well. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you I believe it more than you believe it. Because you're not even sure there was somebody named Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I am. I'm positive there was. You're not even sure there was somebody named Jesus, but I'm positive that there was. You're not positive there was somebody named Moses or Abraham, and I'm positive there was. Because you don't know how to check this. And they're going, huh? What? Many Christians, and I've read their books, think that Abraham is like a made-up guy that they just refer to. Maybe didn't even exist. It's true. A lot of Christians say, well, it's the spirit of Jesus. We don't really know if he lived in or though. It doesn't really matter. Really? I never met a Muslim, though, who didn't believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam really was a person who walked on the earth. Because we have a proof. That's Islam. It's based on proof, proof, proof. Dalil. What's the dalil? The hadith. What does the hadith say? What's the first words of every hadith? Do you know? The first word in every hadith says what? No. On the authority of somebody. Isn't that how they all start? And the hadith about the marriage of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Aisha radiallahu anha always start out with what? On Aisha. She's the one that told the story. The hadith you're bringing me is by her. Yes or no? They don't know what you're talking about. Because you bring the hadith and show them she said that when she was about 9 years old, tissa, not sitta, that she was playing and her parents called her inside. Who called her inside? Did the Prophet ﷺ call her inside and say, hey, come on over here, I got a lollipop for you? Astaghfirullah. This is the way they're bringing it. It's her parents. And by the way, both parents. Something the people in the Western society don't understand because they don't have both parents. Either they're not married anymore or they never were in the first place. You want to call the kettle black? I got some news for you. You're going, whoa. You're the one bringing the nasty question. You want to straighten it out? We straighten it out. Next. She said they called her in and talked to her about that when she's old enough that the Prophet ﷺ is making an offer and that Father Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is offering marriage to him of his daughter. But Allah said in the Quran that nobody can force the girls to get married against their will. Surah An-Nisa. Yes or no? Therefore, she's not old enough, she couldn't make the decision. She went back outside and continued playing with her dolls. Yes or no? And that it was a couple of years later, when she was old enough to have children, that he came back and they talked about it again, and the father went and made the arrangement with the Prophet ﷺ, and then they went to her and asked her, and she agreed. Yes or no? She was an old enough girl to have babies, and her parents were contracting the marriage. Yes or no? In the state of Louisiana, you can do it today with a 12-year-old girl, no problem, if her parents sign a consent form. Yes or no? And what is your point? And did they run out and have sex right away? No, because we have some more hadith right here by the same An Aisha radiallahu anha. You want to take one? Do you take everything she says, or none, or some? Which one? Because if you're going to introduce, this is slander, baby. Then you take that in a court of law. I'll be the judge. Come on, bring it. This witness right now, witness, you accept this witness on saying this? Do you accept everything she says, yes or no? If you say no, she's a hostile witness. We don't take it. Are you going to take everything she said, yes or no? Because either she's a credible witness or she's not. I just want you to tell me, are you going to take everything she says, yes or no? If he says no, then it's the moot point. Then don't bring any of it. If he says yes, then good, I'm glad. Let's take all of it. Because one of the things she said was, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Does that mean you're going to accept that too? He said, what does that mean? It means that when I'm done with the answer to this question, you're going to be at the fork in the road in your life. You're going to have to make a decision. Are you prepared for that? Because you're going to have to rethink your entire life structure based on this question that you just asked. Because when it's over, you will have to rethink your position. And if you find out that there's something wrong with your thinking, something wrong with the way that you're bringing questions and attacking someone who turns out to be somebody great, then what will you say? What will you do? Are you prepared to rethink your position? Are you prepared to worship God without any partners? Yes or no? And they're going, whoa, man, what are you talking about? No, I just want to know. You want the answer to the question? Because I'm going to give you the answer. But I'm just asking you, are you prepared for the answer? Yeah, sure, go ahead. I hope he says yes. By the way, many of them have made shahada afterwards. One of them came to us with a harsh question when we were over in London, Ontario. He asked the question, why do you worship a black box in the desert? We give the answer right there, just like you're sitting here. He was right there beside me. He stood up and made shahada. It's recorded. We had another one. I was also in London, Ontario, but the night before I left, last time. He stood up and made his shahada while we were broadcasting online. What I'm telling you is, when people see the truth, they're the ones going to have a problem, not you. Why would you be shy to tell people about Islam? Why are you shy? Because you don't know what's Islam, that's why. You don't understand what it's there for. You didn't understand that 4 wives was for the women. You didn't understand that this was to show the marriage to the Rasul ﷺ for any of his wives is to show examples of what's halal and haram in marriage. And one of them is you couldn't get married to a girl until she's old enough to make the decision. And the parents can't decide for her. It has to be her free will. And then, and this is the next hadith, that she said that when they got married, that he began very what? Gentle and kind, and they had fun together and ran and played together before there was any sex. Hello, how about that? That they used to run and she used to beat him in a race, but when she got older she was heavy and she couldn't beat him in the last days when they were married together. Then what happened? He used to beat her. Is that true or false? And she used to like to tease him and do stuff. Like making him stand a long time in the doorway so she could peek over and watch guys playing in the masjid when she didn't really care about that. She just wanted to see how long he'd stay there. And how about the time when she and Hafsa and some of the others got together and decided, hey, you know what? Zainab, I think, had the honey, right? And the Prophet ﷺ would go get the honey from her and said, let's tell him that it makes his breath smell bad. And that way he won't do it, and then he'll come with us more time. Just, fooling around, foolishness that women like to do. And guess what? The Prophet ﷺ got real serious, and he thought, well, if my breath smells bad, it's haram. He made honey haram. And then all of a sudden Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Surah At-Tahrim. Yes or no? Oh, my Prophet. Look out. And he told him, you don't make halal and haram around here. Yeah. Allah is threatening even the Prophet ﷺ on this subject. So that's for us too. Don't make halal and haram. Many things came with Aisha radiallahu anha. Wonderful things. Tayammum came from her. The gossip that was spread around, that was cleared up in Surah An-Nur to defend her by Allah, came from Aisha radiallahu anha. Tell them, let them see the beauty of the marriage of Islam. I'm not going to give you the whole answer on this one. I'm going to go to the end of it. The end of it, after I've told them all the things that she said. She said, she said, she said, she said. Are you going to take what she said because she's the one that told us when they got married? Are you going to take it, yes or no? She said this, she said this. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with this? He's going, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And at the very end, I have the biggest one for you. Let's take all of these hadiths from her and take her name and Muhammad's name off of the hadith, and let's remove any identification of the time period, and let's go to any social worker that you know. Let's go to any psychologist, counselor, or psychiatrist, or doctor, or